So on May 1st of 2022, I had spent some time with the Lord before a meeting of sorts, and it was early, and I was looking to do my regular devotions, pick up where I left off. And I really sensed Jesus put his hands on my shoulders and say, "Sit down," like, "Son, sit down." And I knew it was an invitation. And what happened from there was like a coaching session. It was so interesting. And I wrote it down and I shared it with a few of my teams. And a few people were asking for this uh, to be recapitulated. So here it is. I felt like Jesus was inviting me to interact with the question, how do I protect others from myself? How do I protect others from myself? And some of the material that we've been going over is all about how to cultivate emotional maturity. How do we nurture that habit? We've been doing that for about 2 months, and it has been so rewarding for myself and for my communities as we look through, particularly the life model works, maturity indicator charts of infant, child, adult, parents, and elder, all of those different stages. And it's amazing when we interact with the risen rabbi. He's so gentle, he's so filled with compassion and wisdom because he knows what's missing. And I like to say, when he looks at us, he doesn't really see anything wrong with us. He sees what's missing. And because of his covenantal Hesed love for us, he's so faithful to give us that which is missing. And so whether there's, like the examples we've heard before, there's a lot of Swiss cheese, he comes in and gives us those missing pieces. So first interaction, part of the question I wrote down, I felt like he was actually asking me to interact with this question of some of the training toward godliness that's been going on in my own life, in my interior landscape, particularly the last 2 years. And in no particular order, I just wrote these down. And here they are. First, how do I protect others from myself? One, keeping relational circuits on and staying out of enemy mode. Keeping relational circuits on and staying out of enemy mode. You know, when the airplane mode is on your phone and you're just not connecting to anyone else. So staying out of that. And then I felt like he said, well, how have I taught you to do that in these last few years? Good question, Jesus. He's such a good coach. I wrote, noticing overwhelm in me or others and taking a pause to come to peace or return to joy. Practicing appreciation regularly to foster bonds of love and gladness. Practicing glad to be with you no matter what, privately, but also publicly. That's number one. Number two, filling my well of joy to keep me from unhealthy pseudo joys that minimize my connection and impact relationally and spiritually. How do I do this? Again, the question is, how do I protect others from myself? Well, by filling my well of joy intentionally. And how? By scheduling delight and personal satisfaction. I actually have delight days. Scheduling my delight is paramount to protecting others from myself. Number three, acting like myself during difficult conversations or emotions. How? Well, practicing speaker listener, a technique that is very, very helpful for many reasons. Allow my triggers to be an invitation toward healing instead of being shut down or shame-filled or avoidance. Anytime there's a trigger, it's an invitation toward an area where I need to be healed. See myself through heaven's eyes, devotionally, and also in community to re-member my identity. Yeah. So community is really, really, really important to remember who and whose I am. The fourth way I protect others from myself, being clothed in compassion, meditating, reflecting, and showing up as my most compassionate self means practicing attunements, keeping an open and soft heart, letting go of grudges and the need to justify myself or over explain. That new power of defenselessness. Compassion means moving from reflective listening to attuning towards empathy and validation, getting it right instead of being right. That's a life work for me. And fifthly, how do I protect others from myself? Growing into the maturity of Christ through his grace. I love to say that his grace is his empowering presence for me to become the person that he sees when he looks at me. And so to be in a place of community, to learn and develop the missing components that I didn't get growing up of emotional and relational maturity skills is happening in these sessions that we have together. So I would encourage you on your journey of becoming your fully mature self in Christ. How do you protect others from yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses? So why don't you leave it in the comments here below or send me a message, and I look forward to learning from your perspective as well. Thanks for listening.